Hi, happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. Today is the United States of America's birthday. It's their Independence Day, and today is a very joyous day for the United States of America. And it's the day that they threw off their oppressors and became independent or declared their independence, which is really good because I kind of interpret that as their freedom day, the day when you decide that you want to be free and you throw off shackles and oppression and you start to see yourself as free. And so you remove former obstacles, and it's a moment of transformation where prior you were in bondage, you were being oppressed, you were being colonized, and then you decide, hey, I want to be free. Everyone deserves to be free. And no one has taught me a lesson about freedom better than this person in my life. So, my husband taught me such a valuable lesson of freedom. I don't even know if he knows this, that he taught me such a valuable lesson, and I want to share it with you. So, my husband and I have been married now. We will be married next year, 10 years. So, we've been married for a while. And in our early years, um, we would have long discussions and they would be quite great. Actually, our discussions now are still quite great, but the lesson that he taught me came from those discussions. So, in our early years, he would be talking to me about many different topics, and he would be talking and talking and talking. And he would say, I forgot what I was talking about. He said, he said, I forgot my train of thought. I don't remember what I was talking about. And I thought to myself, you don't remember what you were talking about? He's like, no. He's like, I guess the wind blew. So we have a joke between us that he has thoughts on the top of his head, but if the wind blows, it will blow his thoughts away. And so he would forget his train of thought. And so now it's a big joke between us that the wind blew, So he'll be talking and he's like, I forgot what I was saying. And we're like, I guess the wind blew. And, it's just a joke that we share between us. But what that the comfort in which he would reveal this flaw about himself, the fact that he would forget his thoughts so easily, even after you have invested so much time into his conversation, into what he was saying, and he would forget his train of thought so easily, and the ease in which he would say, I forgot what I was saying. I apologize. I forgot what I was saying. And I don't remember what I was saying anymore. And he would show no embarrassment. He would not show any discomfort in revealing that about himself. That actually blew my mind because I have been in conversations with people where I forgot my train of thought and I would try to cover it up, disguise it like I actually did remember. So I would transition the conversation into something else. Or if I couldn't transition the conversation into something else, I would feel so embarrassed that I had forgotten my own train of thought, like my mind had lost its way so much in front of this person that I would become embarrassed. And the fact that my husband was not embarrassed taught me such a valuable lesson. Like, be able to accept your flaws, these imperfections that you have in yourself, the freedom to just be okay with yourself, however you are, the freedom to love yourself and accept yourself with your flaws. It's actually okay to forget um, your train of thought. And as a matter of fact, it helped me to accept myself so much being married to this person. He has taught me so much. He has helped me so much. He has empowered me so much to accept myself. Um, I probably had fundamentals of acceptance growing up, but I did not fully embrace them until my husband came into my life and taught me this great lesson. And it really brought it home to me when he would forget what he was talking about. And so now I actually have tons of flaws. I have a lot of flaws, and they actually don't bother me in the least. And if anything, I realize that actually my flaws are my strengths. A lot of my flaws are my like greatest strengths, I'm becoming to realize. And I think if some people would look at their flaws and realize that their flaws are actually their strengths, they would begin to embrace their flaws. I know that for me, a huge flaw that I have is I'm extremely impatient. I'm really impatient. My mind, it's very easy for me to become bored. I have to have a lot of things going, and to be interested, or to for things to stay interesting for me, I have to have a lot of things going. And my mind is like a wild animal. I call my mind like a wild animal. There is a lot going on in my mind. And so, it's sometimes people may think that I am not the most social person in the world, but my own mind is so entertaining to me that I will go into my mind and stay in my mind for long periods of time, because there is just a lot going on in there, which is a huge flaw to be in your mind for so long. But do you know what the strength of that is for me being so impatient? With my career, I'm a grant writer. I own a grant writing firm. So with when you have projects that have 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, a turnaround, that impatience gives me a level of urgency that makes me like best suited for that career, because that career, when you have a grant and you're working towards a hard deadline of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and these are high pressure grants, because you have to get money for clients to staff their projects, to operate their programs, to pay for people's salaries, their way of life. Very high pressure, extremely high pressure. And that impatience that I have in myself that gives me that urgency to get the job done. I am so perfectly suited for that career, where before I thought, oh my God, why can't I be more patient? Why can't I, just relaxed more? But the job that I have, it's actually perfect for it. The job that I have is actually perfect for my overactive imagination, because when you have a grant that you're writing and you have to dream up fantastical programs and explain and show the reviewer what you're trying to accomplish with this money that they're going to give you to create programs and to do what they want you to do, it's very good to have an active imagination, because you must bring your program alive to your reviewer to convince them, to bring them to your way of thinking or line of thinking, so that they can fund you. they can fund your project out of all the applications that were submitted to them. You brought such imagination and such creative way of explaining your program to them that it gives you an edge, an advantage. And so for all these years, I would be, oh, I, I, I thought that my overactive imagination and living in my head for so long was a flaw, was a defect, was a deficiency. And actually, it's one of my greatest strength is my mind and how active it is to the point even of overactivity sometimes. But it works in my field. It actually works and it benefits me quite greatly how imaginative I can be, over imaginative, to be honest, but it works for me. And so today being Independence Day, which I associate with Freedom Day, having the freedom to embrace your flaws and realizing that actually your flaws are probably your greatest strength. If you could flip it and realize that your flaws are actually your strengths, which I come to realize that that is actually true whenever I assess someone's personality and I see them, sometimes they're whatever, I won't even dive into any particular personality trait. Whenever I see it and it may look like a flaw, it's actually a huge strength of theirs, but um, it needs to be invested in the right environment for the beauty of it to show. Really think about that today, that whatever flaws you have or you perceive it to be a flaw, isn't it actually a strength? Think about it. Isn't it actually a strength? So today is Independence Day. It's the United States of America's Independence Day. And I just want to say happy Independence Day to you. And think about it as Freedom Day and how, if you're battling any flaws that you may have, declare yourself independent and just embrace your flaws because they're actually your strengths. They're your strengths. Happy Independence Day.